Hello and welcome back to another video with Hot Tech Tip. Today we're going to talk about the VLOOKUP function. The VLOOKUP function is found here on the insert function, what we call the f of x. And VLOOKUP is one of my most recently used functions because I already had created this for the tutorial. But if you haven't, the location category is lookup and reference, and you can see there are quite a few, and the last one is VLOOKUP. So let me show you how this is working now, and then we'll recreate the same thing right here. I have a number from a list, and this list corresponds to the first column of this table or table array. And if I choose, for instance, number 1, the next 2 to 3 columns will change based on this number. This is how the VLOOKUP works. It takes the left-hand column of a table array, which has to be sorted in ascending order for the VLOOKUP to work properly. And then it will determine, well, let's take a look here. VLOOKUP, the first item is what number am I going to look up in the first column? Then, what is my table array? And then, once I have identified in the left-hand row, the left-hand column, the number, how many columns over should I look to return the value? And so here it is 2 columns. And it starts column 1, column 2, and all the way over. So if I change this to 4, it changes to beryllium, the name, and beryllium mass. So let's create that again. Let's go here and I will put a number 1. And then I will enter the VLOOKUP. And I'm going to go back to my recently used VLOOKUP. And then my lookup value will be what is in A12, my table array. Now if you click on these little boxes here with the arrows, this will scroll up this window and get it out of the way for a minute. Then I choose this table array, and it's going from H5 to N122. And we can remember that for the next one, so we don't have to drag this down. H5 to N122. And then the column. Now the column that we want to use to bring back the symbol is column 1, 2, column 2. So you just simply put a 2. Then let's scroll the window back down, hit OK. And now you can see if I change this to 2, my symbol changes to match. 8, oxygen. Let's do the same thing here for the name. VLOOKUP. A12. And we said it was H5 colon N22. This brings us the whole table array 122. And you can see here these are the rows. And then for the name, we want column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, column 6. 6. And now we have that working. So if we change this to 6, you can see this changes to C for carbon, the name carbon, and the mass. Now another way to enter a formula, which I had talked about in an earlier video, is to simply type it in. So we could say, start with the equal sign that lets Excel know that you're going to enter a formula, and then type in VLOOKUP and just build our formula. And there's a little information here of what to put in. So we can put in A12, comma, H5 to N122, comma, and then for the mass it's going to be column 7. Then we close this parentheses and hit enter, and then you can see it has built it just by typing it in. If we change this to a 5, everything changes. Now let's change this to a drop down. That's found by clicking on data, data consolidation, and changing the allow to a list, and then telling the drop down where that list is. That list in this case for VLOOKUP will be the first column all the way down to the last element. Scroll back down. Okay. Then let's go back up. And now we have a drop down with all of those elements. Number 1, and everything changes. That is the VLOOKUP. With just 120 rows, it's not that impressive. However, if it was 20,000 rows, it would be a time saver. So thanks for tuning in to Hot Tech Tip, and we'll see you again for the next episode.